Greetings, everybody. This afternoon, I'm fortunate enough to catch up with someone I've known for many years, well over a decade now, actually. We sort of were in the similar game. We both had marketing agencies many years ago. Hamish was the wise one. He got out of it, and I've stuck in there. But he's now one of the major shareholders, and he's the chief executive of Now Telecommunications. He's been involved in that business for a number of years. One of the best, most awesome companies, and best of all, they're local. So that is just fantastic. And I'm proud to say that we're probably one of the first customers, both residential and our business. And that harks back to, I think, actually the AirNet days, which is a bit of a blast from the past. And we occasionally see, I get the odd email from people still with an AirNet email address, which is quite interesting. But great to have you here this afternoon. We're just going to run through some quick fire questions just on how you've been coping and what's changed within your business and just some general observations. But firstly, what did you crave most during lockdown?
Oh, geez, probably three things actually, Damon. I'd have to say my crazy good coffee at 7:30 a.m. down in Ahuriri here in Napier. And what comes with that coffee is mixing with a whole lot of locals, and really, really miss that routine. Getting out on the waves and surfing would have to be right up there too. And probably just being able to escape out to the Batch at Waipariki. So that's if that's a hardship, then yeah.
Did you weigh that up? I know some people actually did escape and go and base themselves out there for the month. Was that were you weighing that kind of decision up?
Yeah, I did actually, Damon, and considered it. And I just felt the need to be really close to the office, albeit that I'm working from home. Look, we're an essential service provider, and there was still some interaction required, with the physical premises and so on. So I just needed to feel closer to our space. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys must have been in a bit of a spin when it all happened around that lockdown time, and we had, I think it was 48 hours notice, and that pretty much meant for a lot of businesses that they were going to have to head home.
Yeah.
And they had probably pretty good broadband or internet services at their office.
Yep.
And quite possibly at home, but it was a real uplift in being in one place and then getting to another. So you guys must have been pretty full on in those early stages trying to assist businesses in setting up.
Yeah, it was kind of it was interesting actually, Damon, because we actually kicked off a project in that first week of March, recognising that the potential, I guess, of what actually transpiring. So we actually had a project team working for the better part of a month on being ready to uplift our entire organisation and operate from home. And that team was meeting, every other day, and we're updating the team company-wide that we're actually preparing for this. So it was, the strange thing is that when Jacinda Ardern made that announcement, to address the nation at 1:00 on that Monday, I think it might have been the 28th or whatever it was, we'd already made the decision that morning to uplift ourselves and start operating from home. And we did that mainly because, yes, we're an essential service provider. Putting aside that, I guess, how the government treat us, we just recognised the growing dependency that existed on us as a service. We couldn't afford to have 60, 70 staff be wiped out. So it was basically, we were already going there anyway.
Yep.
So that was kind of us, and so it was a reasonably smooth transition. We'd done a few pilots in the weeks leading in, and then we, the priority shifted to our customers, and some of the bigger customers with call centres and so on had also been working on this for a couple of weeks themselves. So I know that there was a couple of weekends there prior to lockdown where our staff were working right through the weekend, service delivery team and engineers. Yeah.
So you must have been inundated. I mean, your call centre must have been going crazy in those first couple of days.
Yeah, it was pretty mental. I'd be lying if I was to say that there wasn't some degradation in service levels. We kind of pride ourselves on our answering calls within about 60 seconds. But look, on the whole, it was manageable. what was really interesting was our customers' behaviour in terms of traffic on the network, and you know that after that address to the nation on the 28th of April, our traffic on the telephony side of things just went through the roof. Some of the telcos actually came to a halt where they were unable to connect calls.
Yeah.
But that was the start. But look, everyone was really reasonable as well. They were very, very accepting of the circumstances and much more lenient. And you know, at the end of the day, um, we were accessible and responsive. We were just possibly taking a little bit longer than normal there for a few days. Yeah.
So has there been a real shift, or did you see a pattern evolve with broadband or internet use? You know, as the spikes during particular days that were different from the usual business pattern and stuff?
Yeah, really good question. Yeah, massively, and we sort of have been joking that the rush hour moved from our roads to our internet pipes at 9 a.m. And that's what has indeed happened. But like typically our network, it's really regular in terms of the traffic distribution, and you know we have business traffic on business days throughout the day. At about 3:20 on any given day, the kids get home from school, and you start seeing all the social channels and various gaming channels light up. Dinner time's about 6:30, and all traffic collapses, and then it all starts up again and goes through to about 9:30, and then they see a massive transfer from content to Netflix when parents have obviously got kids to bed. And what happened was all of that just was happening all the time. There was none of those peaks and troughs. So that level of activity, not only as a whole increased by about 50%, but it was just happening everywhere. And there was products like MS Teams that just went through the roof and has been hugely popular. Like we're talking 400 or 500% increase in usage in MS Teams. Yeah. So look, the thing is a pretty capable bunch of engineers that sit behind us here, and you know they burnt the candle at both ends and worked tirelessly there for weeks just to make sure that service wasn't compromised. And yeah.
Yep. Is your business relatively protected from what is occurring? You know, there's a lot of pain going on out there and stuff. And I mean, as you said, you're an essential service. If this had happened 10 years ago, dare I say, it probably would have been dial-up speeds and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, I don't know how business would have coped. Now business is even more reliant on the internet and stuff. So, you know, from a customer base grows, or, you know, what has been the impact for you guys?
Yeah. Look, because when the actual lockdown got announced, Damon, I called the company together and said, right, guys, just a slight development here and things. And I just said to them, look, what's really important here is we just get back to who we are as a company in terms of our guiding principles about how we act and respond to the various challenges that are going to get put at us, because we didn't know what was around the corner and what was going to be ahead of us. And from my perspective, I just said, look, it's about you and your families is our number one priority,
Yep.
your welfare, your well-being. And our second highest priority is our customers. And I laboured that point about our customers. I said, these are the people that have supported us. So what we're going to do is forsake all other activity that relates to growth and things like that, and just put all our energy into you guys and our customers. So to answer your question, we've absolutely seen a massive impact to growth. But in terms of our existing business, there's been zero impact. It's of any impact, probably just an increase in consumption, to be quite honest, in products and services. Yeah. So yeah.
And on a personal note, you know, you've been stuck at home for the 5 weeks and stuff. Has your own routine changed, you know, and how you operate from both the business and you know, sort of family things it up in the morning, getting a bit quickly done, then having a break, and then, you know, that sort of thing? Have you noticed a change, and is it something you may look to continue in any way? Things you picked up?
Yeah, there is actually. There has been a change, and you know, we talk about this whole work-life balance thing, and And I reckon that word balance actually is really apt because it always feels like a balancing act. And I think I'm learning the art of integration, which feels like it's more natural in terms of there's this, you're kind of seamlessly moving between home and family and work. And it kind of just all
Yeah,
fuses
yeah.
together kind of nicely. There's probably some negatives to that, but in terms of, that hard and fast switch off, jump in the car, drive home type thing. But I'm kind of liking it, Damon. Yeah, yeah.
Good, good, good. And what sort of, you talked about MS Teams, and there's obviously Zoom, which we're on now and stuff. What sort of technology have you really relied on or used
Yeah.
more over this time?
Look, for us, it's a case of, I guess, that old adage, eating our own dog food. And so we defaulted heavily on our own, I guess, cloud products in terms of desktop collaboration and things. So, we're a big seller of Mitel and things like that. But we've also integrated MS Teams massively into our business now as well. So I wasn't a user of MS Teams 6 weeks ago. I can see why it's increased 400 or 500% in terms of usage. So so that's probably it in terms of the the primary tools. Yeah.
So you said you were prior to lockdown, you're already going through an exercise of testing and working in isolation or away from the office. So if you had a crystal ball now and you could see a pandemic, and you were prepping or planning, had the ability to plan, was there anything you would do differently?
You know what? I felt like as a team, we were reasonably well equipped and prepared as much as we could be. I think this has been a shock for a lot of our customers, and it's been forced on them in terms of this change in reliance. And I would have liked to have had the opportunity to condition our customers and work with them at a slower pace in terms of, I guess, adopting all this technology, digital technology that they've had to in their homes and home offices and things like that. It's I guess the good thing is that we've had massive adoption and uptake and different ways of doing things because people had to. It was I dare say it was a bit of a cultural shock on a lot of people because even our business and myself, we've had to adopt different ways of working. So yeah, having a bit more time,
Yeah.
I think.
And is there something that again been forced upon you in how you operate that you've gone, wow, we're going to continue with that? That's actually a really good way to do whatever it may well be. Has
Yeah,
there been that?
yeah, there has. I reckon that the one thing that jumps out to me the most, Damon, is the way we're communicating as a team. This is going to almost sound almost quite religious like, but I'm really big in our business about being purpose led. So as an organization, we actually have a belief and a purpose, and I'm really big on people having a purpose as it relates to their department and their role and them themselves personally. And this is a long-winded way of answering your question, but so I keep on bringing people back to come back to what we believe as an organisation, what our vision is in terms of guiding your behaviour, okay? And that's actually been the glue that's held us together. I've been accused of, going, geez, Hamish, the way you buddy go on about our belief and vision ad nauseum, it's like you're the Archbishop of your own freaking church. But we have this belief that basically says, hey, Kiwis were deprived of great service for decades, and it's because of that we see ourselves as a challenger. We're here to push boundaries, and the belief that customers deserve more. And it's kind of with that belief that we have this vision of bringing the possibilities of our customers' digital worlds to life, which sounds a little bit cliche, but everything defaulted back to that and gave us a really good compass as an organisation. Why I'm giving you that background, it then led to, we basically identified very early on that communication was going to have to be key here, and we're possibly going to have to overcompensate because we weren't going to have the luxury of people, I guess, casually interacting over the water cooler or the pool table or table tennis table, whatever it is. And so, we have heartbeat sessions that start at 7:45 a.m. every morning. My leadership team get together, that's all customer facing staff. My leadership team get together at 8:45 every morning. By 9:30, they are catching up with their teams every morning, all facilitated by this sort of product that we're using now. And this is a daily rhythm. I'd send out a company update every day. This week I've actually reduced it to 3 days a week now.
Yeah.
And just really communicating everything that's going on throughout the business. And, and every Friday we'd get together and have a few, virtual drinks. And I'm a bit over virtual drinks now. But I think communication is actually one thing that I want to take forward.
Yeah.
It's, you can't over communicate.
Yeah.
But it's the communication that's going on at every level in our business now that's just been really, really refreshing. And the staff engagement and how they've responded to it's been amazing. Yeah.
Cool. So just a couple more. The economy, the Hawke's Bay economy, like a lot of regions, is suffering, but we're lucky with the primary sector and stuff that we've got, and we grow great things, whether it's great telecommunications businesses or those in the primary sector and stuff. But how quickly do you think we will recover?
Yeah, I was reading some stats the other day. Sorry, Damon, and they were saying that the Hawke's Bay economy contracted in that subsequent year by 1.5% GDP, and the contraction that they're forecasting for the Hawke's Bay economy to March 21, this current financial year, is going to be 6.2%. So we're talking, 3 or 4 times more impact to the Hawke's Bay economy than what we've previously experienced with recessions. And that's a big number. We turn over 7.2 billion GDP for Hawke's Bay. So that must be almost $500 million. That's a lot of money to disappear out of the economy. To think that we're not going to feel this would be really naive. To answer your question, what's really interesting is national GDP is going to contract 8%, and we're at 6.2. So, and I don't know, actually understand exactly why, but we're obviously not going to feel the brunt of this to quite the same extreme as the rest of the country. But you've got to say that there's some underlying sectors, and our horticultural and culture and agricultural sectors, I think, are going to really come into their own over the next 12 months, 24 months, and provide some insulation for those other sectors that are going to be hit a little bit harder. And hopefully manufacturing, which obviously, manufacturing and agriculture in Hawke's Bay are our single largest sectors. And I'd like to think that manufacturing bounces back as well.
So this is a perfect lead into just the final question. And you would have, Rod Drury very well, and you would have seen some of the dialogue and some of the stuff that he's been putting out there, and the opportunities more so for the nation. And there's water storage, and there's 5G, which is probably a space that you'll play in. What opportunities in general do you see for the Hawke's Bay economy?
One thing that's going to be really cool that comes out of this, and I'm already seeing it, and it's that whole out of necessity that's given rise to this. I think we're going to see a sense of unity and collaboration that we haven't seen for 50 years. So, the parochial pride that we have, from one side of the tuk-tuk to the other, I think there's a bit of a coming together. And I think that unity and collaboration is going to be really good for Hawke's Bay. I think everyone realises, hey, we need to work together. I think we do need to identify the sectors where we're, I guess, best placed to carve out, I guess, growth and a defendable point moving forward. Look, I don't know what those sectors are, but I think there's some natural areas where I guess that investment should be channeled. We do need investment, and I think this needs to be a level of collaboration now between private and public sector that we've never seen before. I've been reasonably vocal about 5G, and central governments need to get involved in that. I think 5G, economically, socially, and environmentally, is possibly the most significant thing that will face New Zealand and the world in decades. I think it makes UFB and fibre pale in significance in terms of what it means. And I actually genuinely believe that we can actually manage our environment better through 5G in terms of what it will enable. I think we can overcome some of these social and digital divides that have actually been really pronounced with UFB.
Yeah.
5G makes it more accessible. So I think there's absolutely social, environmental, and of course economic.
It's interesting, isn't it? A point when the government's put out laptops to, thousands of laptops for education purposes and stuff, and the other element of what they've also distributed is routers, whereas in a 5G capacity, that may not necessarily have been the case. So, going forward, but as I said, we're in a better place than what we would have been in the past. We're lucky we've got fibre sort of rolled out pretty well and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you can see that next step, and also in ensuring that we're ready for the next whatever tsunami that happens in the next decade time type of thing. That 5G and stuff could well be the role that will play.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, Damon. I just think there's a lack of understanding of its significance, and that's understandable. It's new technology. Yeah.
Hey, look, it's been fantastic catching up with you. As I said, you're a huge advocate for everything Hawke's Bay. Everyone's grabbed onto your tagline, local, in the last week or so. But as you know, we've both sort of been leading that front for many years, and I totally agree with you in and around that collaboration and stuff, and having those partnerships and connecting and stuff. So best of luck going forward, and hope we catch up again pretty soon.
Hopefully on a wave, Damon. And also, just before we sign off, thank you to you and Anna for all the good work that you guys do through your various capacities. But just, what you guys do with the profit, it's, that's the glue that holds this province together. So those sort of things. So thanks. Yeah.
Cheers, mate. Have a good wave.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
See you. Bye.